Hello, and welcome back to the Long Distance Love Bombs podcast. I am your host, Dr. Jeremy Goldberg, and in this special bonus episode, we have more from Whapio, who you may recall from the last episode has been involved in the birth industry for more than 40 years, and she focuses on bringing a new way of doing birth. It's a return of consciousness to birth. She talks about the presence of deeply connected women who can accompany, hold space, and not interfere in the instinctual responses of the family. She suggests that married women have come to her door suggesting that they want affirmation and they get anxiety. They want support and they get risk screening. And so she is taking a slightly unique approach to the birthing process. And in this conversation, she just wanted to meet Kendra. I had hit her up and asked her to be on the podcast, and she said, I would love to meet Kendra, and I would love to hear about your birthing journey and your expectations for the birth. And so we sat down with her, and I didn't really have any intention of putting this on the podcast, but a few minutes in, I was like, oh, this I think would be useful for people to hear because Whapio just oozes wisdom. She provides an online space called the Matrona, where she provides education and resources and community to doulas and midwives and other birth attendants. And she offers a unique perspective that I personally haven't heard elsewhere in terms of the stages of birth, in terms of what to expect, in terms of how to navigate that process. And she is just a wisdom keeper. She oozes eldership. And I love this conversation with Whapio. I adore her. I think she is such a unique character. She is wise, she is compassionate, and she is so eloquent. And so all of those characteristics make her a wonderful podcast guest. So without further ado, here's a conversation that my partner, Kendra Adachi, and I had with Whapio, talking about our experience, talk about our upcoming experience, giving birth, becoming parents, etc. And I hope it's helpful. I hope you learn from Whapio in the same way that we did, and I hope you can relate to some of the conversations and the topics discussed. So, without further ado, thank you for listening, and here is our chat with Whapio.
Right.
Never happened either. Uh,
Ooh.
so maybe before Kendra arrives, I'm just curious, like, what does the Matrona mean? Like, I'm a
Okay.
little bit naive and ignorant to many of these things. She's a bit more whiter red and
Uh-huh. Well, then
yeah.
I'll tell you. All
Okay.
right. So, years ago, back in 2000, I was looking to start a program, a midwifery program that was educational toward what I wished I could have taken. I wish, to set up that program. So I did, and it's still going. All right. And people tell me it's one of the top three. Okay, if you're looking for midwifery schools that are their own program, okay, not like the state or something like that, that we're still in the top three of people who come to us. So even though we've been around since 2000. All right. And then so when I was looking for a name, I uh I thought about all kinds of things, and then decided to call it the Matrona, because for me, I had read something with a friend of mine who wrote, and it was like there were two midwives who worked at his practice. And one midwife was young and newly trained and very happy and had all the tools and the rope, the rolling pin down your back and all. And the other midwife was very much she was maybe a little older. She was maybe not so much happy. And, she just told stories and knitted a little hat while you were in labor. And at one point, the doc then said, I've got to say this. A lot of people choose the bouncy new midwife rather than the elder, more storytelling midwife. But he said, we have per capita the births with the older midwife are much more straightforward. They are somehow easier. I mean, birth isn't easy, but okay. And he said, "What do we think about that?" And the thing that came up was, well, they weren't disturbed. The older midwife didn't disturb women. She didn't have all those tricks and treats and things like that because her idea was, you'll find your way, and I'm here for the presence of reassurance, okay, rather than to get you through that birth, okay. So what I learned from the Hispanic was there was the obstetra type of midwife who was going to manage your birth, or there was the Madrona, all right, the Madrona, who is the older midwife who sits in the corner. So our house of midwifery is dedicated to the Madrona, the midwife who doesn't disturb, the midwife who's the presence of reassurance. And so that's what and we've been the Matrona for, I don't know, 22 years now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And so how many, I mean, I guess I could ask you on the podcast, but like maybe I'll save that one. Uh, but you've been around doing this work for decades now. And
well,
so
42 years now.
42 years. Yeah. That's a lot of babies. Do you love it as much now as you did then? Like, do you
Oh,
still have,
even more. Yeah. I practiced for 20 years, okay, out in the field. I practiced in rural Georgia for a while, for almost the bulk of my practice. And I also practiced in Asheville, North Carolina for a while, where there was a midwife on every corner. All right. So, which is good. Uh, so yeah, I've been in birth for a while. I do. And I'll tell you what, people will say to me, wow, Whapio, you've been in birth for 42 years. You must see some changes, right? What are you seeing as changing? And I said, well, this is what I say, and I would love Kendra to hear this too. But but well, yes, but they might not be the kind of changes you think or you might expect. I don't see the changes in caregivers. In fact, I see caregivers getting even more strict and more protocoled, but I see the changes in the moms and the dads and the babies and the birth. Women are showing up for their birth now. Families want to be sovereign. Families want to do it them, they just want to have their own birth because birth is highly managed in our culture. All right. And women don't want that. Now, not every woman, obviously, but women want their own birth. And one of the first things they taught me, because I felt like we could talk about trust and being trustworthy. I wanted to be very trustworthy because I knew that I wanted women to tell me the truth. All right. So, so I was trustworthy and they told me what they really wanted. And the biggest thing that everybody really wanted was to, Whapio, we love you, you're good, but we don't need you in our field. We want our husbands and partners in our field while we're birthing. We don't need you to catch our babies. You know, that's nice. And if we do want you to, we'll ask you, but we want our partners to catch our babies. We want that baby going into the partner's hands, the dad's hands, not yours, Whapio. So I listened really carefully. I have always followed women and birth in the sense of rather than followed midwifery or the medical model, I follow women. And this is what women are saying to me. We want our own birth.
yeah,
We
that's
don't want to be
interesting.
managed. We want, oh, sorry. I can,
No,
no.
you're good. It sounds like more like a grassroots down up approach that you're describing rather than a top down
Mm-hmm.
approach. Yeah,
Exactly.
listen to the women. Ah, I'm excited for Kendra's gonna have a lot to say on this, but we just one of our dear friends just had a child maybe 3 days ago,
Ooh.
and the day after that, she sent Kendra a text message that said something like, I'm so excited for you, babe. Like you're next. Because she knows that she's, she's coming and she knows Kendra really well. And she's also a therapist. And so she was giving her a couple little pointers on text message. And
Oh,
there's a
wonderful.
real, I mean, this is my first time going through this. And I've noticed that there's a real camaraderie amongst the moms, but then also amongst the dad that I know too, that
Hmm.
that I suspect I knew existed beforehand, but seeing it firsthand, it like really reinforced that. Like, oh, there is this grassroots community vibe of people checking in, and I think we're really blessed to have that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, that's good.
And it's growing. I mean, after COVID put a very interesting punctuation mark on medical care. And that was people began to kind
Mm.
of wake up and realize that the hospital does not really have your back. And you're not the major investment. The patient is not. All right. And when people realize that, they felt like, well, hospitals aren't really a good place to go. All right. We're being overruled. We're being told you can't have this person in the room. You have to wear a mask. You have to do this, that, and the other thing. And it wasn't working out. And that's when a lot of people made that big jump to, okay, sovereignty and that grassroots and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so people were pursuing alternatives. They were kind of thinking a little more big picture, holistic. And so you've noticed that in the birthing space that lots of shifts have happened post-COVID. Oh,
Oh,
here's
yeah. Home birth has grown exponentially. Hi,
this is
Kendra.
Yeah.
my baby mama.
Yeah,
Hi. Apologies for being a little tardy. I move slow these days.
I don't blame you. We do what we can.
What we
All right.
can, yes. Thank you for chatting with us. This is so amazing.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. We're already getting into the deep stuff.
Where the Matrona came from. She's been doing this since the 80s. One
Yeah.
of the top three midwifery schools. Noticed a shift post-COVID, people questioning things, trying to build up their own self-agency and sovereignty. But I guess for us as a couple, um, like where should we dive in, Wapio? Like what do you have to say or share? I'm sure Kendra has some questions, but yeah, you as the sort of sage that's been doing this for decades and us going through our first experience. What are you hoping to do on this call with us?
Well, one of the things that I love to hear and listen to is how you envision your birth to unfold. All right, what's relevant to you, how you feel about being attended in birth, just all the big things and the little things. All right, if you want to go there. I was just telling Jeremy, that I felt like one of the biggest changes I've seen in birth in 42 years is that women are showing up. Women and families are showing up, and they're showing up together, not just the women, but the women and the partners. Okay. And they want their own birth. They don't want my birth or their sisters or the midwives or the doctors. They want their own birth. And one of the things I see women looking for is, okay, who will stand with us with that? Who will witness us? Who will be with us? Is there anybody out there that could just be the presence of the wise woman in the room? All right. And not feel like they have to manage me. We want mentoring, not management. We want accompanying during the whole childbirth continuum. All right. Not just appointments. Okay. So, anyway, starting there, that's kind of how. That's kind of my matrix. Okay, women are showing up, and I'm, I hear it, and I'm going to provide what you need if I can. So, what's good? What's important to you?
Well, I mean, there's so many pieces here that I'm also being reminded of. I listened to a couple podcasts that my doula sent me. I think Jeremy might have mentioned this, and that's how you came into our sphere. Um, And it's really reminding me as well of what my doula said to me in one of our very first meetings was like when we walk across coals, like fire walk, nobody can walk over the coals for us, but they can be on the sidelines and they can cheer us on and they can support us or be at the end to give us water, so to speak. And she was like, that's kind of my role. Like, I can't walk over the coals for you. You're going to have your journey. And that just has really stuck with me. And that's
Mhm.
something that I've really in the spiritual realm and in this journey, I really do believe in just the trust that this baby came in at the time that it meant to, chose us for a reason, and that the experience I meant to have is going to be the experience I meant to have. And so my vision for my birth with that is to have as little as intervention as possible, but also having for like my human, the knowing that I have the support and the leaning on, like the sense of safety of, oh, I'm held when if I touch those parts within myself. So I can like look up and like I'm walking over the coals metaphorically. I can look up and I can see familiar faces and feel energy that I feel comforted and safe in. And yeah, so my vision is home birth. My vision is we'll have the water bed or the water pool, but I'm not attached to it having to be in the pool. I'm really just not attached to it being anything.
Right.
I just am like, this baby's gonna come the way the baby wants to come. And my one of my biggest invitations right now is just really trusting and getting out of the way of how that experience is meant to unfold for me. And of course, I have my fears, I have my worries, I have my, like, I've never done this before, but people do it, women do it all the time. And I, of course, have my fears in that. And I also have this knowing that there is this innate knowing. And, listening to the podcast that, I can't remember what the podcast was specifically, but you're talking about the stages and the veil and the summoning and the pause. And so these are the pieces that I felt I can deeply feel are so profoundly important that unfortunately in a lot of birth settings, especially in hospital, but not always just in hospital, get bypassed. Like the pause that needs to happen. Like I feel like there's something really spiritual that's happening and I can't know what it is. So my vision is just to really be in that experience and sort of to the best of my ability, allow what needs to happen to me, like what needs to die. Talking to my doula, I've sat with ayahuasca a couple of times, and I was just like, it sounds like it's obviously not that, but that there's a deep surrendering, there's a deep discomfort, and then there's the sort of the shedding and who you are on the other side of that. And I feel like I just would love to honor that sacred time. So I mean, I'm doing all the logistical things as much as I can, prepping my food, doing all that stuff. And yeah, the confronting part for me is there's the knowing to get out of the way. And then there's also the like the kind of the uncomfortable gripping of being a bit afraid.
I think just to add to that very briefly, we found a doula that Kendra really loves and connects with, like a sisterly kind of level. And we have a midwife who we really respect and admire, that also we resonate with, like at a deep level. And so I think there's the support that Kendra alluded to specifically, in addition to the sisterhood and all the moms that she's text messaging and etc. So I think for the last couple of months have felt like, okay, we've got our team, we've got our space, we're planning, we're prepping to have this grand, uncertain adventure and give ourselves the best chance to have that be as easy as it could be, knowing that it's not going to be necessarily easy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. And also I would add, like, our bond feels really strong. Like we've had some good chats, we've made some lists, we've I feel like strengthened that connection in preparation for the transformation or the initiation, I suppose, that's about to happen.
I think too, something that I've, especially this last month, that I've really been feeling is uh like it just feels really important to me to also honor what this spirit baby is coming here to have an experience of. And so my boundaries feel very online. I feel very bounded with my energy, and and just also really sourcing and inviting in like my midwife and the doula and the women in my life that are supportive advocates for, even if
Mhm.
they don't agree, they are supportive of what I feel is true for my experience and for our experience. And
Mhm.
so I've been more and more just really opening to that being in my realm as opposed to the other stuff that doesn't feel in alignment. And that
Mhm.
feels like it's been a profound crunchy practice, but really necessary.
Well, I really applaud and respect what you're saying about how this could happen here and this could happen here, but we'll just see what happens. And I think that's a really good attitude. And I feel like also one of the things that you have covered, which is very missing in birth, outside of some of these realms, is that you have people who are invested in you. You are their primary investment, not their license or not their colleagues, what their colleagues do or whatever. You are the a prime investment. They can put people ahead you. They can put you ahead of themselves. So I think that you've got that covered, and that goes a long way. Because think about all the women who don't have that. All right, they have sometimes it's just take what you get. All right, but that's great that you have that system. All right, and then I feel like this. I feel like it's sort of crystallizing down to, well, what do I need? And, I have found over the years that women need one thing, and that is reassurance in themselves and in everyone who's in the room. And that goes a long way because if you have reassurance in yourself, well, that's really all you need. Okay. And if the people that you surround yourself with have the same reassurance in you, I feel you don't need a lot more. You don't need a lot of a lot of stuff. And
Okay. Sorry, Whapio, go ahead.
no, I want to hear you.
Okay. Before you jumped on, she was saying there's like these two kind of houses. There's like the medical obstet obstetric. How did you say it?
Like a obstetra. Yeah. This
Yeah,
is
and then
the,
like
the
Matrona version, which is like the wise lady that's knitting in the corner. That's kind of like, you're good. Like I'm here. You've got this. And it sounds like what you're describing here is that sort of gentle encouragement of providing that reminder when you might forget when things get difficult or crunchy. Is that fair?
I feel like this too. I feel like, well, there's free birth where a lot of people just have their babies and they have them at home, but they don't, have doctors or midwives or anybody there sometimes, maybe even just a doula. But anyway, the whole idea there is those women often say to me, my birth was the highlight of my life. It was amazing. Best day ever. But you know what? I wish I had had the presence of a wise woman in the room just to witness me, not to tell me what to do, not to manage me, not even to mentor me. She's been, mentoring me in my pregnancy and she will in my postpartum. But when it comes for me to give birth, you're just going to step out and she's just the presence of reassurance. And I feel like if if you can maintain, here's something that's really big for me. This is the bottom line. Birth doesn't happen in ordinary reality. Birth is an altered state. And you know what an altered state is. All right, how if you're focused on something in an altered state like that, it just zooms in, it's just everything else disappears. You and your baby are in, well, you too, the dad, unless something's bad is happening, okay, where you would run testosterone. Otherwise, you three are running oxytocin. And you get to a point in your labor where, in the beginning, you're really chatty. Oh, this is fun. These contractions are great. Like, how's the dog? Does everybody have enough lemonade? And we realize that that's not the altered state. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you start to get that kind of like a sensations, oh, after a while, your brain waves change and you're not chatty anymore. You're like, oh, I feel this one. Oh, and you don't care where the dog is anymore. Okay. And then your body takes you into, well, like what we call a theta state, where you begin separating out from everything except your baby. This is when you get to hear your baby. There's no chatter. There's no like, ooh, the sensations. Okay. It's you and your baby, and you are dancing together, and your partner is witnessing you in that dance. Okay. It is so good. It really is. And it's the creation of family, all right, in a very sacred and conscientious way. So when that, so basically letting that altered state come on, nothing between you and your little one. All right. Listen, the veils are really thin then, and you get to hear your baby because the distractions have stopped. So, not a lot of talking. You know what I mean? Talking puts you back in your head. You'll see what I mean. I know you will. You know how when you go into an altered state, it's that other realm that's adjacent to reality, normal reality, but that's not where you want to be right now. You know, you want to be in that other place where you hear your baby, and where I tell you this is a good thing to know. When you get into those deep altered states, the pain recedes. The pain is only in ordinary reality. Get out. You know what I mean? And there's nothing you have to do except show up. All your body will do all of this for you unless there's somebody obstructing it, or unless you're particularly fearful. So you know how to go to those deeper states. You know how precious they are. All right. You know how to stay there. You know that if someone disturbs you, it could, call everything a crash. So I often ask women, do you want silence during your birth? And what I also know is when you're talking about guidance, wires can get twisted. Trust your own instincts. I would trust your instincts and your partner's instincts before mine, because who knows you better? And right? And your partner has a lot of instincts and instinctual responses. You both do. And I feel like don't let anybody get in the way of that. It's all good. It's going to flow. Just like at the altered state, just like the ayahuasca, there's a moment there or two or whatever, but it's deep, and it's real. And if you have someone there, and it sounds like you've already encapsulated that, but somebody there that you could look at and know and just speak with your eyes, is this normal? Am I okay? Is this all right? Is this what's happening? Is it okay? And that person just give you that reassurance. Yeah, this is totally normal. Don't have to talk even, and then you go right back down. Birth is an altered state, one of the most transformative ones you'll ever have in your life. Both of you, okay? Both of you. And I I watch moms in labor. I don't do much except, like we said, knit the butt, knit the hat, because, well, if the midwife's over there knitting the hat, what could be wrong? All right. She might put her knitting down if it wasn't. But anyway, what I see is that women want their partners with them. When I had both of my children, everyone else in the room could have flown away, my midwife and her assistant, because the only person I ever looked at was my partner, my husband. It was us having this baby every step of the way. That's the creation of family. What we have today is often men being put in the realm of wallpaper, or you're not the most important person in the room, when actually you too are the most important people in the room, and the baby, of course. All right. So hold on to your partner. Your partner is the one who knows you the best, who has the most investment of anyone, all right, in you and this little baby. And what you'll see is sometimes at birth is that when the mom knows her baby's coming, all right, she will then, come on to her partner, okay? It's time. It's time. And what she's wanting is for the dad to catch this baby, to catch their light. This
Mm.
is their light. And you agreed 9 months ago to gestate that light. And when you did, there's a little video out there. It's 30 seconds. And when the ovum takes the sperm and they become united, okay, the egg will begin to flash and sparkle and put off photons of light. All right. This is all about the light. You've taken in the light and you're gestating it. And now you're going to give it. The Hispanic word for birth is dar a luz, to give light. So you're carrying that light in this pregnancy, and you're going to bestow it on the world through the hands of your partner. How does that sound? Okay. Am I out of the, I see this all the time. And what I see, Kendra, is that when you call your partner in and he kneels before you, all right, I see most women give birth on one knee. Like, one knee, it's so strong, it's so and I see your partner kind of kneel in front of you and catch that light. Oh, there's nothing like it. And all of a sudden, the dad's wings come out. All right, like you become the archangels, Jeremy. It's amazing. You've got these two people. All right, your wings come out, and I'm in the corner just saying, "Oh, another family on the world, on the planet." I will write that down. I wish this for you, and you will have it. You'll have it. Okay, maybe not exactly as I've described it, but you will have your birth because you really do care about it. And I wouldn't say to other people don't care about it, but you carry the wisdom of this being a transformational event, okay? Worthy of, of dignity and honor. Conception is amazing. We have this idea that the sperm are all running to get this egg, and the first sperm that plants his tail on there. It's not like that at all. It's one of the most noble and honoring ceremonies. Do you know that the sperm have a hive mind? They have guardian sperm, and they have scout sperm, and they have golden sperm, and everyone stays in their own lane, just like in the beehive. Okay, this is amazing to hear. So then the scouts, if there's an ejaculation, and here it is, and then the scouts, they go all the way up to the tubes, and then the guardian sperms, they make sure nothing else comes in, okay, besides them. And then there's these golden sperm, and these are the sperm that are going to that you've chosen, all right, that your egg has chosen. And when your egg is not ready to be penetrated right away, all right, okay, these little scouts come along, and they have enzymes, and they break down the corona radiata and everything. And then when the egg is open to be penetrated, the scout sperm make a procession. Do you know what I mean? They just make a procession.
Wow.
Here come the golden sperm. This is beautiful. This is worthy, okay, of us to have the creation of family be something honorable and noble and altered states and transformation. And I wish that for you. And it's all going to happen because well, half of it already has. You're carrying the light now, and it's going to come.
That's
What do you think?
I mean, so many pieces of that just really touch something deep in me. Like just the word reassurance. Yeah. And just trusting that. Um, and the piece around, and my doula spoke to this too, just like, you don't give birth to your baby, you give birth with your baby. Of like, we're doing this together. And that's really stuck with me of just, this is going to be us moving through this experience and doing it together. And then looking up, and I'm just visioning of like, part of when I vision my birth, I see Jeremy's face. I just see him there. And while it feels really beautiful to have the support system and team around if, anything were to go sideways, the person that I care about most that just is also having this experience is Jeremy. And yeah, it just feels really tender. It just feels there's a deepening and the reassurance piece for when I have the doubt. That just really, really landed for me.
There's all that reassurance that comes pouring in during those altered states. The further away you get from ordinary reality, and the deeper you go into you and your baby consciousness, the pain will recede and the doubt will recede. Okay? And really, what your doula does is not help you have your baby, but make sure nothing interrupts you from having your baby. All right. Make sure that there's nothing in the room or anything like that that is coming between you and your baby. The three of you are a little triad there, a little trifecta of perfection. Wow, I'm so excited to be able to talk to you about this and for it to be meaningful to you. This is so wonderful, all right, that we can know and appreciate what's happening.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the pieces why I feel, I mean, there's so many layers to it. But there's just such a sacredness to this whole journey that I feel has been lost or not, and it's being remembered. But for like why we're choosing to have the birth that we're having and to have, like, I don't want, I really desire to not have any sort of intervention in terms of epidural or anything. I feel like there's some wisdom in the whole vastness of the experience. And it just feels like a really sacred portal that is incredibly necessary for mother, father, like maiden to move through. And yeah, when I really felt into like my choices of it, I've had a friend that had a full free birth. Nobody was present except for her husband, and it was a beautiful experience for her. It was her second child, and I've I've been in a community and talked to many women around, just having the whole sensation of like what like codes are downloaded, like the whole sensation that happens. And I'm just like, there's something so primal and so necessary. There's a reason why we have that. There's a reason why like we have that before there's been a lot of intervention and people coming in. And there's something about it that I was just like, this is really a part of our evolution. This is really part of like what we're being called and asked to go through.
Yes.
In our lifetime. And it just feels like,
yeah,
like honoring that in a really big way.
I think we're called upon to shine light on the magnitude of birth and what birth can be. I mean, this is the way we enter the planet. All right. This matters. It matters who's in the room. Okay. It matters. And I feel like you have so much reverence for that, I'm really touched as well that you have this level of reverence and understanding and insight. And you'll have lots of insights, Dad. You will. All right. You don't feel like you can't speak don't feel like you can't speak or share. All right. You know, most dads don't realize in our culture that the dad holds the charge for the birth. In the hospital, it's not the doctor. The doctor's not going to take your baby home. Who's going to take your baby home? This man, and there you go. All right. So your dad has the final say. And if you don't like something, you as a dad are the person that can speak to that. Oh, she doesn't want that, or that doesn't make her look happy, or we decided not to do that. That would be your role. You are her perfect, intimate advocate. perfect because who better? Intimate. Well, who else is intimate with her except you, Perfect intimate partner, perfect intimate advocate, if that's what you feel like you need. All right. So like you talk about a C-section, well, if you end up in a hospital, then you give it over to the dad. Dad says she doesn't want that. No, let's not do that to her. She doesn't want a vaginal. No, thank you. You can refuse any and everything. I'll tell you, your sisters fought really hard back in the 80s for informed consent. And there wasn't any informed consent before that. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? All right, everybody thought, who needs informed consent? You mean women are going to do things that they're not going to do things that we tell them? We're kind of, yeah. All right. So anyway, this is a transformational experience, honestly, for both of you. I feel like dads are so present today. I mean, my hat's off to dads who are like, go sit in the corner, Whapio, we've got this, and who catch their babies, who receive the light. It's that, okay? Sperm are little light bearers, they move, they have mitochondria. I don't know if you want to hear all this, but they have a mitochondrial body right here, and it's their energy body. And as they're swimming down, they're little light, they're going off, they're packets of light going off. And she's like the Princess Ovum is enthralled by, look at these little photons of light creatures. Shall I take one in? And it's receiving the light, and it's gestating the light, mama, and then it's giving the light to who? To the dad, to the person who put that light there. And what I have seen dads do, like I say, I know I'm repeating myself, but the wings come out, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I mean, I worked with this old crunchy biker dude one time, and he told me, he said, I've been to hell and back, and I've been to heaven and back, and I've tried every drug in the world, but catching my baby was the highest high ever,
Hmm.
ever, you know, and that's something special, you
Yeah.
know, and this is you'll birth this baby, you may birth other babies, but you'll not birth this one again, so you want it to be special. And just remember, whatever, if you have a question, or if you have something that you don't agree with, Dad, you speak up. All right, speak up. It's okay. In fact, it's preferable.
Hmm.
Your instinctual, you will both have instinctual responses that you want to protect. All right. You want dad to protect your instinctual responses. No, I don't want to get out of the tub. No, I want to get in the tub. No, I don't want anybody to touch me right now. No, I don't want anyone in the room to talk, please. No, I don't. You know what I mean? You get to make your scene. And a lot of times the scene can make it or break it. Do you know what I'm saying? People are buzzing your ear or bothering you or getting you over here and there. I mean, the more you move away from that and just go into your personal, instinctual, insightful responses, the easier it will be. And the less complications you'll have.
Hmm.
Okay. I, as a midwife, didn't see a lot of complications in my birth. And I worked with a lot of non-resourced women that lived in trailers and didn't have money and whatnot. And I never saw that there were a lot of complications. And I'll tell you why. It's because we don't complicate it. It'll flow. It's you. You know what you're doing. I'm here as the presence of reassurance. Knit, 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 knit. And it's you. It's you two together.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like that's really helpful to remember too. It's just like it's so incredibly natural. Like get out of the way. Like
Yeah.
get out of the way for it.
Go
It-
deeper.
yeah.
Like with ayahuasca, go deeper. It's worth it. You're gonna love it.
I feel like
It's
I will.
probably
I feel like I will.
it's probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever done physically, but the most worthwhile.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, you know. That's
I'm curious if you have any, I don't know, words of wisdom for like literally the final weeks leading up to of just I don't even know how to ask it, of just like what supports. I feel like I know this is probably a really individual thing, but what would you give as wisdom to somebody like me who's literally a few weeks, maybe more, maybe less away from the event? Just what to focus on, what not to focus on, what supports. I'm doing my best to again just to slow-ish down. I'm not working anymore. Yesterday was my last day of that. And
But
now I'm just sort of in this liminal spot.
well, first of all, I would remember that when you're in labor, all the power of the universe is running through you, and no one can ever take that away from you. All the power of the universe is running through you now. So stand back, watch out. I don't want anyone to get hurt because I'm having a baby. All right. And if you can see yourself in that realm of holding all the power of the universe, and my labor unfolds the way it's supposed to, it's perfect already. Einstein says it's already done. So it's already done, you know? So however it was perfect.
Mm.
Right? It's going to be beautiful, like I say, because you have the reverence, you understand the magnitude of of what's happening here, body and soul. All right. You understand that you're bringing forth the light, and here's another light on the planet. Okay. And what I've noticed is that when women birth, they oftentimes are somewhere else in the vastness of the universe. Okay, they are. There's molecular changes happening while you're in birth. Make no mistake. Okay, and women don't pick up their babies right away, and people
Mm.
they just don't, because they're not ready. They're having molecular changes from the vastness of earth and sky. All right. So if you don't have the instinct to pick up your baby, and especially home birth moms, because no one else is going to touch their baby, or make sure you say that no one else should touch your baby. Here's something else. Here's a reason for that. Because the first person to touch your baby's mucous membranes anywhere colonizes your baby with their internal flora. It is
Mm.
urgent that only you or the dad handle your baby. Okay, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I see moms birth their babies and the dad is there, I see dads receive the baby actually and put that baby down, face down, so that they can drain and that they can turn over from fetal to neonatal circulation. It's just best to let them lay there for a few minutes, really, because they're doing all this other stuff. They're getting I'm getting a little physiologic here, but they're getting the placental download of blood and glucose. They're switching over from fetal circulation to neonatal circulation because they're breathing. So it's just best to leave them there, honestly. But and then what happens is it's like the dad is just waiting for you to come back and be present and pick up our light, you
Mm.
know, because he put that light right there in front of you. Are you going to pick that up? Are you going to agree like you did gestating that light? Are you going to raise that light? Are you going to let me be part of that as the dad? It's so beautiful. All right. And And this is how we live forever, because we constantly give the light back and forth like infinity. Okay. And you are going to participate in that. I mean, personally, I would do anything to have a baby right now, knowing what I know and feeling how I feel, but that's not going to happen. But I wish I had known what we were talking about with you. I found it out. I figured it out, and you will too, in the way that's germane to you. And but I would make sure that your midwives and doulas know that you don't pick up your baby right away. You don't want anyone to touch your baby. If you're in a tub, just put your baby like up here, across here, and wait till you're ready. Watch birthing videos. You'll see a lot of times exactly what I'm talking about. And there's this video out there called These Are My Hours. Have you seen that?
No.
A woman just giving birth, all right, in her home with her family. Her kids are asleep. The dad is there. Her mom is there too, but you never see her mom. You just see her mom knitting. Okay. It's a beautiful, raw. It's not a documentary. There's no voiceover or anything. It's just a filmmaker made just a woman having a baby. You
Wow.
know, it's beautiful. It's called These Are My Hours. And so they are. All
Wow.
right.
Mm.
Definitely
So
gonna.
So is there anything, I mean, I think you shared with me that you have some doubts and this and that and the other thing, which is part of normal. Is there anything up? Is there anything that you either of you want to discuss?
I feel like, do you have anything?
No, you're good.
I feel like I feel pretty good mostly. I just in these like final times I'm having like waves of deep overwhelm. And a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, I had a really big emotional purge, like seething, screaming, crying for like 3 days straight. Just felt like the craziest person. And I guess I don't really know if it's so much more of a question of just maybe a reassurance that uh like what I've been talking to with other mamas is like this is a part of it, of like this is like something, and that also maybe something that experiencing is not also just mine but the spirit of this baby, because I'm
Mhm.
holding all of that too coming through. And so I guess there's moments when I have guilt or doubt or like just for feeling so intensely right now. And
I think too, you're worried just to add to that. Like my perception is that you're worried that like my overwhelm or my intense feelings will be screwing the baby up somehow, or like that I'm not a good mom, or like that you're doing it wrong. Is that accurate or along a path?
um that was definitely a part of it. And that was definitely a part of it. And I've had moms and knowing like also tell me that, you know, to communicate with the baby like this isn't you, like this is what I'm experiencing. What I think, like what I'm purging is not doesn't have to do with you. It doesn't have to do with the baby. It's like you're not, it's not because of you that this is happening, but maybe some of it is yours. I don't know. I don't know. And so like there's a trust that I have in that, but I just feel like yeah, I do feel a little bit guilty. I feel a little bit like, man, I feel like I should be like shooting on myself. I should be embracing these final moments in a different way. And then when I have these moments of like overwhelm or like rushing or urgency, I just feel like "Ugh, I'm not doing it right," or like I'm
Mhm.
not honoring the way that I want to be honoring.
I
I don't
hear
know
you.
if you have any words or reassurance around that, but that's something that's been coming up for me of just like even like honestly previous to this call, I felt like a bit of urgency and just was like I could just feel myself want to cry immediately, be like, man, I'm doing that again. And I don't love that I get to this state, but also trusting that maybe it's here because it needs to come up and out as well.
Oh Lord, I used to tell women, there's no luggage racks that we're taking with us. If you've got something that you want to unpack, unpack it before the birth, for heaven's sakes, okay? So don't worry about that. And now I'm going to tell you something equally as brilliant, all right, that happens. You find it easy to go into altered states now. Do you know what I mean? The default of pregnancy and birth and postpartum is not ordinary reality. You are not required by the standards of ordinary reality. You have the right to do whatever feels good, or you need to get something off or something like that. I definitely think it's a very normal thing to have a lot of emotional upheaval.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't think that very many people really are just sitting there reading the Psalms or anything. Do you know what I'm saying? They're having their moments.
Yeah.
Okay. And listen to this. when we talk about going into those altered states, your brain waves actually do shift. And they shift from beta, which is normal, then alpha, which is kind of sensual, and then theta, which is deep. Now we're looking and knowing it myself. And then there's delta, where you're in cosmic consciousness, okay? And babies, they're not in ordinary reality. They don't have that book. And nor neither are they, they're not in alpha either, the creative. They're in the cosmic consciousness with the creator. And they know everything. They know everything. They do. There's ultimate forgiveness for everything. And you will feel it, and they will feel it. You don't have to worry 1 minute about what does my baby think about this. It might even be your baby precipitating it. All right. Because we think labor is all about the mother, but it isn't. You said this before. It's about 2, 3 people, really. Okay. And let it be. All right. Who knows that your baby doesn't have to experience a certain level of emotion, by the way, so that they can be born.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about anything, honestly. I mean, if you want to take a moment and worry about it, but don't doubt yourself, because otherwise you're doubting your baby too. And your baby knows everything. Your baby is with source. All right. Their brain waves are very slow. You know, ordinary reality is your baby is just marinating. Do you know what I mean? In God and spirit and all of that. And that's the place of knowing. All right. That's where we know. I mean, we think and we feel, but the knowing part, that's way down deep. That's where your baby is. Your baby isn't in thinking or feeling even. Your baby just knows.
That's really helpful.
That's so profound.
Thank you.
Of like we're trying to project our own reality onto the baby, and the baby's just living this completely distinct, separate reality. It's like, oh, where the baby is, like there's not even any words. Like there's not language to describe overwhelm and stress and should. And all. It's like the baby's just present, marinating in God, as you say. It's like that. I find that to be just so interesting.
For consciousness.
Yeah. Is that helpful for you?
It's helpful. It's helpful when when I make it.
Remember?
Yeah, it's helpful when you said like, if you're doubting, when I'm doubting this, it's like doubting the baby, and it's like, oh, I don't doubt the baby, and that's just this is us. Yeah.
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 And if you feel the doubt, you give a nod to your midwife or your doula or someone who loves you, and then turn it over to your baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a part of labor, I call it the quietude. And it's after you get into that part called transition, where the contractions are long and strong, and then all of a sudden it's like you're in the eye of the storm, because a lot of those contractions go back down again, and you have this rest right in the middle of your labor. I call it the quietude. And this is where so many things get downloaded. This is where you understand things. Now you understand things too, you see? And I always ask women, so what happened during your quietude? And mostly it lasts a half hour, 30 minutes, 40, 50, an hour, all right, where your labor just seems to stop. And you trance out a lot. You are in deep delta. You're in the place of knowing now, okay? You come up. And another thing I see women do is in labor, they make an act of will. It's going on and it's going on and it's going on, and I don't want this anymore. And where's my ride? I want to go to the hospital. I call the police. I don't know. You get to that point, right? And then you make an act of will to just move up to the top. Okay. Move out of that pain. Move up and beyond. You become the temple. All right. You become what you're looking for. And I see that women make an act of will, and I don't want you to miss it. A lot of times it's the first time moms, first time they've ever had to make an act of will. other women to survive. They make acts of will every day. But making this act of will means it's not a suggestion, it's not a guideline, it's not a guiding principle, it's not an idea, it's an act of will. I will go the distance. And when you get there, you get the quietude. You become the temple. You know everything about your baby now. Don't let anyone wake you up. You'll wake up in an hour or whatever. I'm telling you this, Dad, don't let anyone bother her. She kind of goes into that quietude and then and sometimes midwives get nervous and they're thinking like, oh, your labor is stalling. Oh, come on. No. You can't go to sleep now. You got to have a baby. Why would you take a birthing woman who's finally got to relax and tell her, no, you've got to do, give her some time, give her that hour. All right. I call it the quietude, because now this is you and you're going to listen to your baby now. And then you're going to land that child on this green earth. It's so great. You will love birth.
I'm really enjoying this reassurance.
Okay, good. We'll see. I'm telling you all kinds of things that are true, though.
Yeah.
Really, sperm do have a hive mind. And you are carrying the light, okay? And you are giving it, and someone's receiving it. Your loving partner's receiving it. This is all real, okay? And so whatever happens in your labor, go explore it. If I didn't tell you about the quietude and all of a sudden you might have thought, well, something's happening in my labor. It's stopping. What am I doing wrong? No, perfect. That's what's supposed to happen. All right.
It's kind of reminding me too, just again, like how natural it is, like just to get out of the way of just like every step has a purpose. And I feel like in the hospital system, and just like so much that we have done is just we've created concern, or we've created, you're like, what is happening? What's going on? As opposed to just getting out of the way. So it's just also really reminding me of like how it unfolds. Like I feel like I'll know if like, oh, something is wrong.
Oh yeah. You're
Like,
gonna know that. You're gonna be really tapped in, okay, on a lot of levels.
yeah.
And one thing, I'm just gonna mention this. If it were me, I would not push unless I felt my baby down there. The British model is don't push until you see the baby's head. The American model is as soon as you can't feel any cervix, push. And you were not designed to push for more than a half hour, 45 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? And some of the pushing I'm hearing of 3 hours, 4 hours, that's not okay. All right. Your body was never made to confuse or confound you. Okay. So if you push too soon, you'll get your baby in a crooked position, things like that. You'll hook a shoulder on the pubic bone in there. So I would just really, this is the one physiologic thing I would say to skip, and that is coached pushing.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Don't push if you don't feel like it, and get up. And I just read a study. Well, I've known it for years, but I just had a doula class and I make a big deal out of it. It's a study by a midwife in England who felt like, why are we making women push? And she did this study of the first 100 first-time moms with a head-down baby. And she found that out of 100 of those women, 89 of those women birthed their baby totally spontaneously. No one said the word push. No one coached them. No one had any expectations on them that they would be pushing soon or need to push now. 91 first-time moms, no, 89 first-time moms, okay, had their babies absolutely spontaneously. You don't need to push. Your body will let you know. All right.
Yeah.
Because that's a big, I feel like that's when labor changes. Everything's going along really great. You know what I mean? And you're handling the contractions, and then somebody checks you and says, oh, okay, we can push now. So don't, all right? Don't until you can feel the head or see the head down there.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, and thank you for that. Like one of my biggest passions is just really honoring how wise our bodies are. And I mean I'm forever in the experience of learning that and forgetting and remembering and all of it. And but this being like one of like the most pivotal moments of just like you said, like our bodies weren't built to confuse us. Like it's like, and especially with something when it comes to labor, I really feel like I think our bodies understand. Like we were literally built for this. We were literally built to do this. And
Mm.
trusting that, like you said also at the beginning, like trusting my knowing above all else and above like my instinctual.
Yes,
Yeah.
and dad is next. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes dads even know more than moms, you know.
Will you say that part again real quick? That
Sometimes dads have more instinctual responses that are bang on than the mom does. You know, you're
yeah.
telling something, you're like, oh, okay, is this okay? La la la. And the dad gets it right away. Yeah, this is fine. Or no, that's not okay. You got to get up, you got to sit down, you got to stop talking, you got to need something to drink. You'll know all of this stuff because you're watching it unfold.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, you're the perfect intimate advocate, the perfect intimate person.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Yeah. We've had those chats too. And the doulas also mentioned to us before as well, like I might forget to drink. And like I might, there might be moments
Or pee.
or pee or go pee or something, and where Jeremy may be like, "Hey, do you need to pee? When was the last time you?" And just like those little things where, because I might be, yeah, not here, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
watching out for you. He's got your back. Okay. He
With the
knows what
deep,
you need. He's the
PD.
dad. Okay. This is
I
amazing.
just picture it being deeper as well, like knowing what to say when, because I know her so well and like have been through so many things with her. Like, oh, you're feeling like I could tell you're feeling doubt. So I'm going to tell you what you need to hear in a way that you need to receive it right now to like fill your cup back up. Right.
Yeah.
And like,
No one can do it like you.
hmm
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
that's,
Remember that, Dad. Remember, you know what I mean? That you hold the charge for the birth.
mm,
You hold the charge for these two people, your mom and your babe, and nobody can do it like you.
mm, it's a good reminder.
It's a good reminder.
Well, it is because legally, lawfully, socially, culturally, familially, religiously, the dad holds the charge. The dad is the head of the family.
Mm,
Our whole culture is based on that. And unfortunately, in birth, we rough road, rough shot over that, and dads are kind of wallpaper or in the corner somewhere. So,
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe we can dive into that a little more when we chat again in like 2 days, which I'm really excited about.
yeah.
And I'm just conscious of your time, Wapio. I don't know how much time you've got or whatever, but we're very grateful
Yeah.
that you showed up and were so giving with your time and your wisdom. And I feel like I could just talk to you or listen to you for hours. It's
Ooh.
the classic experience I've had infrequently when I'm having podcast guests on, where periodically I just forget that I'm part of the interaction and I feel like I'm just watching a TED talk. I'm like, oh man, this is so good. And then there's pause. It's like, oh dang, I have to ask a question now. Uh, but no, this has just been really helpful
Yeah.
and you're just so wonderful. And I could tell you're this embodied, wise woman that has seen a lot of things and the way that you present it and the visuals and the examples, for me personally, it's like very sticky. Like I get it in the way you describe. So just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for those kind words. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'd love to just like, I mean, I second everything he says, but they just, it really, a lot landed, a lot really like was felt in my body. And it just
Okay.
feels really reassuring, which is the
Good.
word. And it just, yeah, I'm really grateful that we got to have this opportunity. It's just
Yeah,
feels like a big gift.
it was a fun moment when I think I messaged her and I was like, "Hey, Wapio wants to meet you." I invited her on the podcast and then she said she wanted to tell both of us and she was like, "What? Really? That's
Oh,
amazing." Like I'm
oh,
excited. And so yeah, it was a fun thing to be able to gift to her. Um And on behalf of the family, thank you.
Yeah, the
In
baby.
the
Yeah.
days-
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm devoted to you both. I'm devoted to the three of you. So if there's anything I can do, if there's a question you forgot to ask, if you want to just check out something, I'm here, and that's what I do, you know.
Amazing.
So
Beautiful.
so yeah. And I'd love to a PS, you know what I mean? Let me know how you
Yeah, you're getting a
had your
photo.
baby, how did it go? If you want to deconstruct any
Absolutely.
part of it.
We'll absolutely share.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
just out like receiving and being witnessed by you that just feels really just
Like medicinal.
it just is really touching.
Hmm.
Well, I'm your anchor if you need one. Okay. But I know you've got a great team. So, all right. Well, I will see you on Friday, right?
Yeah,
Would you
absolutely.
remind me of the time?
I can, yeah. Hang on one second. We are chatting 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, how's that still good for you?
So good for me, yeah. Is that
Yeah,
okay
that's
for you?
really good for me too.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
Same thing. You'll send me a link and we'll do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be the same link just to keep it easy for Zoom. But I can resend that. And yeah, it'll just be me. So no Kendra, unless you want to come join and crash again, Kendra.
I might be sleeping.
Yeah, she might be sleeping.
Be
Might
completely honest.
might be doing a lot of work there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
funny.
yeah, we can dive in though to the all of it really
All of it.
and see where it goes.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing that one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
much,
yeah,
Whapio.
I'll talk to you on Friday.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
So be well.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
She's so sweet.
That was really sweet.